Today we're going to be doing a Skinny Legs Barefoot review of these, which are the Freet Pace. Just to mention that these shoes have been put through their paces. I've now clocked up around 150 miles running in them and several times that walking, so I can give them a full balanced rounded review. If you want to see what they look like when they were brand new, check out this first run video that I did a while ago. So what are the Pace by Barefoot company Freet? They are a performance multi-activity sports shoe. They come with a 6mm Ortholite removable insole for comfort over longer distances and hard or mixed terrain. The upper is a fly knit using recycled coffee beans. Gives some good eco credentials and sustainability, so that's nice to see. And they're aimed at anybody who's running, hiking, sports, gym, or just to wear for everyday use. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be breaking this down into the things that I like about these shoes, the things that I dislike about these shoes, and then an overall value for money, and in the end I'm going to give them a score out of 20 from 4 categories. But let's get into it. So things that I like about the Freet Pace. The thing that I like best about these Freet Pace is the outsole, the grip. These are the best gripping barefoot shoes that I own, particularly in the wet and when things get a little bit gnarly underfoot. They feel absolutely fantastic, and even though there's nothing special really to look at them, the grip on them is absolutely amazing. I was blown away by how well these grip, particularly like I say running. Nothing has put these off. These things just grip absolutely amazingly. So the biggest like on these is definitely the outsole material and the grip that it gives. Second thing with the Freet Pace is their durability. As I say, I've got about 150 miles running in these, and the wear and tear on them is absolutely minimal. There is nothing different about the Flyknit upper than the day I bought it. There's no threads coming out, there's no areas wearing, my toes aren't coming through the end. The knit has really stood up to a complete battering. I've taken these out in every kind of condition you can think of, from blazing sunshine in the middle of summer right through to the snow. I managed to get a run in the snow in them the other day, and you wouldn't tell anything different in the upper between these and when I pulled them out the box brand new. Amazed at how well they have stood up. First thing for the durability is the Flyknit upper, then the outsole. There's a couple of bits on the forefoot and where I toe off where they're just starting to lose their lugs. They're just going a little bit flat there. Considering what I've put these through and the experiences I've had in them, they've really lasted incredibly well. I am absolutely gobsmacked, really surprised at how durable these shoes have been. Okay, third point on the likes is it has a removable Ortholite insole. It's a 6mm really light flexible foam, and with this in the shoe it makes these really comfortable. With the insole in, it just takes them up a level for comfort. Point 4 would be the Flyknit upper. The construction has got a perfect balance of having some support, just a little bit, enough to keep it in shape and keep it hugging to the foot without sagging and, you know, just looking like a bag of spuds basically. It's really held up, the balance is perfect. It's got just a little bit of a more open knit around the toe area, the toe box, so it allows a bit of breeze through. When it gets hot, if there's any wind, then it does actually really help to cool them down. It's a really clever design and it just works really well. There's a little bit of padding around the heel collar as well, and the tongue's thin, but the material, the knit, is just enough so there's no intrusive discomfort from the lacing, anything like that. It's just a really, really good knitted upper. The fifth thing that I really like about these shoes is the lacing system. Now, lacing systems you'd think are pretty standard, particularly on a shoe that's aimed for running and sport, gym, things like that. But I've had a few pairs of shoes where it hasn't worked. So to get a pair of shoes with such a simple design, where there's just these fabric loops within the knitted upper that keep the laces in place, and the little lace stay in the middle of the tongue just keeps everything locked down. You can pull them in really tight, the tongue doesn't move around, get really nice lockdown across the midfoot and around the ankle. There's also the extra eyelets for doing a runner's knot, which I appreciate because I use that every time I put them on. The metal eyelets are really, really strong, so no problems with the lacing system. In fact, it's a real plus for this shoe. The lacing system works extremely well and I'm really, really happy with that. Okay, with all that said and done, all those things to like about the Freet Pace, are there any dislikes? Well, yes, there are a few, so let's touch on those now. The first one being the volume of the shoe. And I find that with the Ortholite 6mm insole in the shoe, they fit me like a glove. I can get a really nice lockdown on them, or they're just really comfortable to wear casually. They just work really, really well. However, take that insole out and they're just a bit too voluminous for my feet. I've got pretty skinny feet, so this might only be me that this affects, but I will mention removing 6mm all the way along the shoe does add a lot of volume within that shoe. But like I say, if I take the insole out, I get better ground perception, get better ground feel, but my foot's moving around slightly, which makes long distance running, anything over about 5k, a little bit fatiguing on the feet. So it's kind of a balance between the two. It's not the end of the world. They are really comfortable with the insole in, but they're just a bit too voluminous with my feet with the insole out, so it slides around a little bit. Now, it might not affect anyone else, but I thought it was definitely worth mentioning it because I have found that while wearing them without the insole. Another dislike, or something that I've noticed with these, is ground coffee bean eco flyknit, which has got many benefits. It also has a couple of drawbacks as well. One of those is that it's affected by the weather. Running in direct sunshine with very little breeze when it's really hot, being black and quite a heavy knit, these soak in the heat, so they're not ideal in the height of summer when it's really hot and it's blazing sunshine. And then on the other extreme of that, when it's wet outside, even though the grip is fantastic and it loves the wet, it just bites and really works really well, the upper soaks in water extremely quickly and makes the shoe quite heavy and a little bit cumbersome. So the upper, not ideal in blazing sunshine or when they get really wet. Right, it's time for the scores on the doors. So I'm going to be breaking this down into 4 sections, and each section is going to be worth a maximum of 5 points, and then overall it's going to give a score out of 20. So the first section is comfort and fit. How comfortable are they? How well do they fit? Second section is going to be durability. How well have they performed long term? That will give them a score out of 5 as well. Third section is going to be looks and usability. Now the looks will be from my own personal point of view. If you feel any different, you can drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think. And then the usability will be within the same section, and it's how universal they are. If these were just marketed as a running shoe, then I would be doing it purely looks as a running shoe and usability as a running shoe. But since these are marketed as an everyday shoe as well, that's how I'll be scoring them out of 5. And finally, value. Do I think these are value for money? Do I think that £85, which is what they cost here in the UK, do I think that that is a fair representation of value for money? So all those added together out of a maximum of 5 for each of the 4 areas will give a score out of 20. So how did they score on comfort and fit? Well, I'm going to give these a solid 4 out of 5. I think these are superbly comfortable with the insole in. It's nice after wearing barefoot shoes just to have that option of having that 6mm Ortholite insole in there, just to give them that extra added bit of comfort. I've knocked them down 1 point because, as I mentioned, the volume changes when the insole is in or out, and so not perfect, but really, really respectable. Durability, well, as I've already mentioned, the durability of these things has been absolutely astounding. I'm really surprised how well they've held up after everything that I've fired at them. Even running in the snow the other day, they dried out and they haven't lost any of their shape. They've not become discoloured or anything like that. They've just really withstood everything that I've put them through stupendously well. I am really surprised how well they still look after all this time and everything that they've been through. So that is going to be a perfect 5 out of 5. Next section is looks and usability. Well, I think after my skepticism to start with, thinking that they looked a little bit boring and a little bit plain, I've now actually turned that around completely, and I think that they're, as a universal shoe to wear every day, or running in, down the gym, things like that, I think that they are the pretty much ideal shoe. So I'm going to award them a thoroughly respectable 4.5 out of 5. They would look really smart, really useful, really purposeful, and just fit the bill really, really well. So very respectable 4.5 out of 5. And that leads us nicely on to the final category, which is value. Value for money. As I've already mentioned, £85, perhaps a bit of discount available here and there, takes them down to maybe £76, something like that, nice 10% discount. And I think that that is an absolute bargain for these shoes. The durability, the wearability, the comfort, everything overall, for what they are actually worth, 4.5 out of 5 every day of the week. So really, really strong score. And that brings us to an overall score of 18 out of 20 for the Freet Pace. I think they're really, really worth a look if you're in the market for a universal shoe. So there may be better running shoes out there that are all year round. There may be slightly better looking casual shoes. But on the whole, if you wanted one barefoot shoe to cover a massive range of activities and uses, I think that the Freet Pace is a really, really good buy. I'm really happy with mine. So have you tried the Freet brand? What do you think of them? What shoes have you tried? Leave me a comment down below. Also, Freet have just launched a massive new range. Looking forward to trying a few more of them and seeing how we get on. If I get hold of any, I'll drop you a review like this one and we'll see how they fare against the Pace. So please remember to give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you want to see some more reviews like this coming through very, very shortly. And thanks very much for making it this far in the video. If you want to see a playlist of the Freet Pace, please click these videos here. If you want to see other barefoot shoe reviews, then please click on this one up here. And if you want to subscribe, you can hit this one here. And I'll catch you all again very, very soon.
Frost! Frost! Frost!